guys, just like what Professor Shoemaker was saying about, the software that they came up with patrolling these lights. Keeping these lights burning is very important for the utilities because customers, the utilities or the small towns, the big cities, they're our paying customers. They're what makes this stuff happen. And so that's an important process. And you guys knowing how to recognize these lights, what types they are, if they're street lights or area lights, how to troubleshoot stuff. We'll go through that a little bit, not a whole lot, but just to say that is a very big money maker for the Santee Coopers, the Duke Energies, the Dominions, all these electric utilities. They make a ton of money off of the lighting programs that they have. I know at one point, probably 15, 20 years ago, our company went through a program where they were actually incentivizing us to go out and sell lights to customers. And we were like getting, just small money a month on a credit card or something. But we did a lot during our business hours where we'd go to customers and we'd actually go door to door sometimes and see if customers were interested in, lighting for the yards or for a parking lot or something. But that is a lot of money that these utilities make through the years because of the low cost of having to let these lights operate every night is very, very lucrative for these companies. Yeah. So, and the companies do spend a lot of time and money in fixing these lights. And that's why, like Duke went to the contractors, because you're paying a lineman out there almost $40 an hour to go out there and repair these lights, whereas a contractor can go out there and do it for 18 or 20 or whatever they pay them. They don't have to pay them benefits, but whatever contracts they set up with these companies to fix it, they're actually saving money. So they're actually making more money on these lights. So very important part of utility business of supplying lighting to these places. And these lights, they're a lot of them nowadays, they're not cheap because they're going to all LED lighting. They're moving away from these incandescent street lights and area lights into these LEDs, in which, LEDs, they're really nothing but like a little circuit board that emit lights. And that's all it is in there. And they're very economical. They burn very little current. So they're making more money on top of that now because, that even though you might not think it's a lot, if you at night ride towards a big city and you can see it for miles and miles away, the glow on the horizon, they've got, thousands and thousands of lights, and the customers are paying, a premium for this stuff. So that cuts down on the cost of not having to generate as much to burn these incandescent bulbs versus the LED bulb. But there are different kinds of lights out there still. Duke is in the process and has been for years. I know at least a couple of years before I left that we started switching out all these incandescent bulbs. And some communities, in the bigger communities, they were actually going in and wholesale changing everything out. They would rent a big yard somewhere and just bring in thousands and thousands of these fixtures and contract these crews out like this, ALS crews or ULS, Utility Lighting Solutions. They'd come in and they would just go through the town and change them out. So town like Andrews, they have not gone through and done that yet. I think Lake City, they were working on King Street, but the smaller places will probably be your last. But they are going through the process of changing these incandescent bulbs out to the LEDs. Now, there are different kinds of incandescent fixtures out there. And you guys, if you want to take notes on this, you will see a lot of this stuff again on the quiz today concerning the lighting. And that, Professor Shoemaker, did you find those?
I found two. I haven't found metal halide or low pressure yet.
Okay. Well, I'll start off with, And this is how you indicate what kind of light it is. You from standing on the ground, being able to look up at the fixture, it's going to have a little sticker on it with a number on it. And you can see this, that, let's start off with that number 25. Can everybody see that, the picture?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, that yellow 25, that yellow sticker indicates that that is a high pressure sodium fixture.
So the
high
co-
pressure, huh?
The color, yeah, the
Yeah,
color.
the color code, yeah.
Yeah.
That's yellow, or you may see some gold stickers, but yellow or gold, that's going to indicate that that's a high pressure sodium fixture. If you see HPS, that's high pressure sodium. Those are pretty decent lights. They will let you know when the bulb starts going bad. They'll start cycling on and off, on and off, on and off. And then you'll know, just as a lighting technician, somebody who goes out and repair them, that, hey, that's probably an indication you need to change that bulb. And generally, in my experience, I worked on lights probably for 30 years, and that's an indication that that's a bad bulb. So easy fix, takes less than 5 minutes to take you probably more time if you're in a highly trafficked area with a lot of cars. Take you more time to set up a work zone, put your cones on than it does to fix the light itself. But anyways, it has to be done. But the yellow fixture there is, the yellow sticker means high pressure sodium. Any questions about the yellow sticker? Okay. Now the next light, and it's not on there, it's going to be the green sticker, and that's a low pressure sodium fixture. At Duke, we did not have low pressure sodium, but you know, you go work in different areas on storms and ice storms, hurricanes, or whatever, and you'll see these different kinds of fixtures that they're out in the world out there. Does Santee Cooper have the low pressure?
Very little, very little out there.
Right. So anyways, and guys, like I said, all these are being phased out, being replaced with LED until something else can come up to replace LEDs. But right now, LED is the hot commodity, and it's what's selling. All right, so we got a yellow sticker, which is high pressure. We got a green sticker for these lights, which is low pressure. And now we're going to look at a red sticker. The red sticker is actually metal halide. Metal halide is I would say it's like a clear light. It's
White.
It's like, yeah, white, real clear. You'll see this light like in mall parking lots, car lots, because it lets you see what the true color of things are. Until the LEDs came along, of course, but
That's
red, go ahead.
What sticker was that?
The red is
Metal.
metal halide.
Metal halide, and it's clear, correct?
And it's clear bulb, yep. Sodium vapor is yellow because the light, it emits like an orange light. The green one, I guess it's more of a, would you say a more orangey looking?
Yeah, hold on one second. All right, see that?
This is
I've got a black, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the light on the right-hand side?
Yes,
High
sir.
pressure.
See the
I got a
yellowish?
question.
You
Why
see
don't
the-
they just use
See the
the same
yellowish
bulb?
look on the light on the right-hand side? That's sodium,
High pressure
Right.
sodium.
right? The one on the left-hand side that's up on that arm, that's typical of a halide type. It's more whiter and clear. Go ahead,
Right.
Randall.
Why don't they just use all the same bulbs for all of them?
You got
Well,
that?
Yeah, Randall, I mean, one thing is pricing. It's just like, you know, customers have to pay for these lights. They are not free. They're just not out there. Whether you're a residential customer, commercial customer, a town or a city, they pay a certain price for these lights. And cost is a factor on it, for one. And then a lot of people don't care for the orange light, that the high pressure sodium. They just don't like it. Or a lot of people don't like the white light. They'd rather have the orange light. Some people think the orange light keeps away bugs, but none of them keep away bugs. They all attract bugs. So
Yeah.
if you ever go work on one and open it up, it's going to be full of bugs. Dead bugs will be all in it. But I mean, it's just different things. That's why, Randy. I mean, and of course, another factor is how bright you want it. High pressure sodium ranges from like a 70-watt bulb all the way up to 1,000-watt bulb. They're just different lighting sizes for what the customer's needs are, is what it amounts to.
And think of this too, you know, a utility delivers electricity to a home, and that's their job. They generate it, transport it, get it to your house. Lighting, on the other hand, is more of a marketing thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of icing on the cake for utility, and they're going to offer whatever the customer really wants. Now, they're not going to be able to offer everything they have, but when a customer says, well, I want all of Faro Parkway to have a white light look down there, they're going to accommodate that.
All right, Shoemaker, I got a question then. So is Faro Parkway a residential area?
Faro Parkway, the parkway itself is the city of Myrtle Beach. Now you branch off of that, then you're going to go into a residential area.
So the Faro Parkway is owned by the city of Myrtle Beach.
Correct.
So,
The lighting is.
so they get to choose what bulbs they want in their
Correct.
vicinity.
Correct. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, it is really a marketable product. Now, take it for this. When I left Santee Cooper, just the city of Myrtle Beach, their account had about 120,000 lights. Right? They're paying about $1.8 to $1.9 million a year just to run those lights.
Yep.
So that'll give you an idea of how lucrative lighting is.
Yep. Yep. And that brings up another point, what you're talking about, that money. And I don't know what the periods are for Santee Cooper. It's just like, and I'm sure that Faro Parkway is all underground lighting.
Yes.
If we had to go in, a customer had to go, we switched over from overhead to underground lightings. That's going to require a 5-year contract for that city or town or whatever to, you know, to accept. They've got to pay that amount for 5 years. And if they, you know, fault on that contract within that 5 years, then there's a termination fee that they've got to pay, you know, early termination fee, which is, I think they have to pay 25% of what's left on the contract. So, you know, on the upfront part of it, it's kind of expensive for the utilities to put in these poles, to bury the lines, you know, but on the, you know, on the other end of the long side of it, it's very lucrative for them, because after that 5-year period, you know, those costs are recovered, and it's money in the bank for them, other than a little bit of maintenance here and there. So, yeah, that all makes a decision on what the customer, how they want it, is the price. That was the red sticker being on the metal halide. And I'll say when metal halide came into play a few years back, probably 15 years or so ago, metal halide was the new kid on the block. It was the best of everything it was going to replace, but it kind of took a little seat on the wayside with the rest of them, because there was somebody else out there working on another one, and it was of course it was the LED. The LED right now is the cream of the crop. Everybody wants it, and it's like the metal halide. It's a clear, it's a crisp light, and the really nice thing about LEDs are that these other bulbs, these incandescent bulbs, when that photocell tells that light to come on, that bulb starts to heat up. It's got to get hot. The hotter it gets, the brighter it gets. LEDs, when that photocell or photo control tells that light to turn on, when it's on, it's bright instantly. So that's a benefit of not having to wait, or maybe, you know, it's 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, the feeder relays one time. So what happens when it relays? All the street lights will go off, the bulbs have to cool down. It may be five minutes or so, 10 minutes before these lights will come back on. With the LEDs, they're right back on. It's an excellent light. They're very bright. They do generate a right good bit of heat, though. I'll tell you that. They'll get hot quick, but they cool down quick as well. But nice way to go. And they have a white sticker. LEDs are white. Last one, as you can see in the picture right there with the blue 40, and that light started being phased out many years ago, and it's called a mercury vapor. And it's actually another white looking light. Because of the mercury in it, the government came out and said, hey, you got to get rid of those lights, start replacing them with other fixtures. And that's probably about the time when Duke picked up the metal halide, because that was a white light to replace it. But there really weren't any smaller metal halide lights at that time to replace the smaller mercury vapor lights, because mercury vapor was one of the smallest lights that you could put in a customer's yard that really wasn't expensive. I think at the time when I started, it cost the customer about $6 a month for the mercury vapor with Duke. So that one is being phased out and will never come back into play. And I don't think you'll see many more of these other ones as well when all the LEDs are put into place and when they finish distributing those out. So the 5 kinds of color stickers we have are yellow for high pressure sodium, the green sticker for low pressure sodium, the red sticker lets you know that's a metal halide, and you might see a red sticker, half red, half white. It's just a different kind of metal halide fixture that is. But if it's red, it's going to be metal halide. The white sticker, of course, is going to be the LEDs, and the mercury vapor is going to have the blue stickers. And there's still a few blue sticker lights out there, not many, but there's a couple out there. Guys, you got any questions about the sticker colors, how to determine what kind of light it is?
Yeah, what was the other colors? I got yellow and blue.
Yeah,
All right, you got green for low pressure. Metal halide is red. And the white is LED. Got it, Randy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, got any other questions about this? And you will see that question again. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to talk about, we've talked about the LEDs and what they are, the kind of fixtures they are. You know, of course, all these other fixtures like you see in the picture there, those are Cobra Head fixtures, what we call it. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But all of those take bulbs or what we call lamps. If you hear us refer to as something as a lamp, that means it's the bulb, okay? We didn't generally call them bulbs, we call them lamps out there. So that's the terminology for that. Of course, LED is the circuit board which generates a light or emits a light on those kinds of fixtures, okay? And just like there's several types of lights out there, different styles of lights, the most popular, there's many more than 7 because of the LEDs coming into place, but the ones we're going to talk about, well, the first one we'll talk about is the rental light, and it is an open. Do you have any open fixtures, open bottom fixtures out there?
Let me go check here real quick.
Okay, and the open bottom basically it's a basic area light, what you want to find like in a customer's yard. You want to put these kinds of lights right there. That is the open bottom, guys. You can see that it's open. It emits a pattern that is, you know, more or less circular. And that's probably 99% of what you'll see in a customer's backyard or front yard. Very inexpensive lighting for customers. At Duke, if we installed one of these, if there's a pole in your yard and I came and put that light on your pole, that would come with like a year contract. You'd have to keep it a year. If we had to install a overhead a wood pole and pull overhead lines to it, then you're looking at a 3-year contract with that particular light. If we came in, it was an underground subdivision, like I said before, underground's a 5-year contract with that particular light if it's fed from underground facilities. So, but that is what we call a rental or an open bottom fixture. Professor Shoemaker, Santee still have a lot of those, or?
But yeah, we do, but it's kind of surprising. I had one, it's probably about 6 months ago. I've got one of these at my house.
Yeah.
And it was a high pressure sodium, 150 watt high pressure sodium. And I reported, because I got a tree close to it, I reported it in, the tree limb hit the shade, which is this part down at the bottom of it, hit the shade and busted the shade off. So I reported that in the expectation of just getting new shade put on it. They put an LED back in its place.
Right.
So.
And that was the same thing with what Duke does. Anytime that they can go, if we had the bulbs on the truck and could fix it, that was fine because they wanted to use up the bulbs, But if not, then we would replace those with the LEDs. Then they have an open. Go ahead, Randy.
But what if the customer didn't want an LED?
Too bad.
Well, they had a choice. Randy, they had a choice. If we couldn't fix the light, we told them, say, hey, we can do one of two things. We can take it out completely, or you can go with a LED. It's your choice. Or they can go to Lowe's and buy their own and put up. It's up to them.
Okay.
But they didn't really want that expense to have to go out and buy a fixture, hire an electrician to put it up. Then they're going to be paying for the current every month through their meter instead of, you figure.
My uncle just put one of those up beside his shop.
Yeah. Would you rather go to the expense of buying that light, maintaining it yourself, paying for the current, or pay $6 a month for Duke to come out there, put it in and maintain it for you?
I'd rather pay $6.
Exactly. And that's what they do. It's very, very, and there's no cost for the company to come back. If there's a problem with it, there's no charge for us to come back out and repair that light. That's in the agreement. Okay.
There's a little bit going on behind the scenes here too, guys. Especially when you've got these are lamp type. These are the
right
ones that are 150 watt. When we say 150 watt and the voltage and whatnot is coming from it, you really got to start thinking about lumens. And lumens refers to the amount of light that's cast out of it, not really as much as the wattage. So I asked, of course, because I know people that say, "Cool, why did you change my 150 watt light to the LED?" And I truly do like the LED. It's a whiter light. You got to realize what's going on in the background. This thing is using about 100. When I say 150 watts, 150 watts worth of power. Power refers to watts. An LED giving off the same lumens, the amount of light cast out is only about 25.
25 watts.
Yeah, it's a 25 watt light, but the lumens, the amount of light cast off by it, is the same as a 150 watt fixture.
Yeah.
So you think in those terms, and I'll kind of refer back to this. If the city of Myrtle Beach has 120,000 lights, think of how much wattage you are saving the company itself, but you're still charging the customer at the same amount, if not a little bit more, because you got an LED light. So you don't have to build any more generation. You don't have to upgrade your lines. I did a study years and years back of, and it had to do with the photo control. We'll get that in just a moment. That all of the lights in the territory I was working in equaled one substation transformer. So all the lights turned on at night, it would take one substation transformer in the entire area to power all those lights. Can you think of the amount of money that's saved if they come on later and go off earlier? Same thing with the LED concept. If I could provide the customer with the same amount of lumens, lights cast off, for 125 watts less, I'm making money.
Yep. A ton of it.
Mm-hmm.
And because of, I know with Duke, whenever they And of course, all with Duke, they have to have everything approved by the Public Service Commission. The lighting rates went up whenever the LEDs are, being put in. So of course, the LED fixtures are a little bit more expensive to buy, but they're buying them in such a bulk, they're getting them cheaper than you or I could go out there and get them. So it's costing them a little bit of money, but they're making money on, through rental. And then like Professor Shoemaker said, they're not having to, the generation's not as much. Because there's a lot of lights in these cities. You go to like the Raleighs or the Charlottes and see the amount of lighting they have downtown in those cities. It's unreal. It's thousands and thousands of dollars a month. I know, and I'll give you this example. If anybody knows the town I worked in, the city of Andrews, very, very small town, but their lighting every month was like $10,000 a month for their power bill for the city. I'm talking about a city, a little town with a population of about 6,000 or 8,000 people within the city limits. That's a lot of money they're having to pay out every month. And actually, when the economy dropped out in 2007, there's a bunch of smaller towns around the Lake City, King Street, Lake City area, Florence area. They were actually going in and cutting out every third or fourth street light to cut down on what they had to pay out every month.
Lake City's still like that though, V. They don't have many streetlights in the actual city of Lake City.
Yeah, they do, Randy.
Not
That's because Lake City's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Lake City's got some issues going on, but the lighting never changed there. The Scrantons, the Cowards, those Turbyvilles on that end, the smaller side.
They don't have many either.
No, that's because they wanted to save money. So we actually went in and started taking out bulbs so they wouldn't be charged every month, or disconnected the wires themselves so the photocells wouldn't operate. But anyway, that's the difference. But those, like Professor Shoemaker showed that other slide, guys, that is a rental light. That is, I'd say 99% of that light would be used in a residential situation. All right, the next light we're going to look at is the Cobra Head, and that was in that first picture he showed. Those are called Cobra Head lights. There's actually two different kinds Cobras there. You've got one that has the drop down lens in it.
Do the lenses fade over time like headlights on a vehicle?
Say that again, Randy.
The lenses on them, do they fade over time like yellow, like the headlights on a vehicle?
Whenever we had the plastic lenses, because you had to have plastic lenses because a lot of these bad neighborhoods, they break them out every night. So we put plastic lenses in. Yes, the sodium vapors would start changing that plastic to a yellow, orangish color. And then we'd have to go in over time within, 5 years or so and start changing those out as well, because it was, keeping the light from coming through was not a very bright light. But anyways, that is right on some of those. The glass, no, it did not affect those glass lenses. Like you can see on the 40, the blue 40 right there, that's a glass lens. And you can see the different heights cut different ways inside that glass right there, that refractor. That they've got that thing designed to where it's going to make the light shine, put out a different pattern other than that round light out there. That's actually more going to be like an egg-shaped light on the ground. And guys, can you tell me, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, we should have went over it already, but you see the 25 and the 40. Tell me what the 25 and the 40 mean on those fixtures.
25 means
Wattage.
high pressure sodium. Oh, sorry.
No, the yellow color means high pressure sodium.
Got it.
Is it the
Yeah,
wattage?
I think Ryan said it.
What is it, Ryan?
Wattage?
That's correct. That's going to be a wattage side. So how much is a 25, Ryan? What would you think?
25 watts?
No.
Are you all seeing the closed captions that I'm typing?
No.
Sir.
Who
0
can
to
see the
25.
transcript? No.
Okay, keep going.
Yep, that actually stands for a 250-watt fixture. So how about the blue 40?
400 watt.
That's a
What
that's a-
type?
what type of light is it? Is blue?
Mercury,
Metal halide.
No,
mercury vapor.
mercury vapor. That's
Or
correct.
mercury vapor.
Yep. But those Cobra heads, you'll see those used like in parking lots, street lighting, those kinds of applications. They're a little bit more expensive than the the open bottom lights. They'd run anywhere, I'd say, I don't know, 15 to up to $18 a month for those, plus the pole charge or whatever. But lighting is very cheap at the time for security for a lot of businesses and industry and whatnot to light up their parking lots at night. All right, you got a picture of a floodlight?
I can make it that happen.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's close enough. Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
No, that's all right.
Let's see.
$124.95.
It's
Yeah,
pretty cheap. Here,
that's cheap
there's
for a light fixture, Randy.
That ain't bad. Put
There-
those on
there's
the front of a boat.
that's a sale one. I don't want a sale one. There we go.
There you go.
1,000 watt.
Okay,
See those at the back of warehouses.
that's right. All right, guys, that's a floodlight. What's the difference between the Cobra Head and the Flood? Anybody can tell the difference?
That's
Well,
flat, where the other one's curved.
Say it again.
That one's got like a flat cover piece.
Right,
It'd
right.
be brighter though, wouldn't it?
Say it again, Randy.
Wouldn't it be brighter?
Well, it may look brighter. It may be the same size of light as the Cobra Head, but floodlight is a directional light. If that light is pointing towards you, most of the light when it comes on is going to be pointed in one direction. There'll be a little bit of light at the bottom of a pole, but for the most part, it's used for directional uses. If there's one specific area somebody wants to light up, they'll have a floodlight installed and it'll push all the light in one direction. Whereas the Cobra Head and the little round bottom rental light, those shine straight down in a circular pattern or egg-shaped pattern below. But different. It's just like if you had two businesses side by side. One business wants the light all on his size. He doesn't want his his competitor next door to have any light. He may have a floodlight installed where it's shining, toward his business and not his neighbor. So that's basically what it's for. And I'll tell you my experience in working on these lights. I've seen a lot of customers, residential, where they're feud with their neighbors and they'll have a round bottom light and it's between the two houses. And he doesn't want his neighbor to have that light anymore because he's paying for it and his neighbors benefit. So I'd have to go out there and change it out and put a floodlight up so it all shine on his yard instead of his neighbors. People are very picky that way sometimes. It's kind of silly, but that's just the way it is in the world, but that's what a floodlight's for. It shines in a direction, not straight down. You got one of a shoebox?
I can make it happen.
Okay.
Um,
Shoebox lights, guys, if you look out in the parking lot next to the training field, shoebox is going to look.
That's a flood. Hold on.
Yeah. You can see that whole parking lot and most of the lighting in the parking lots at the school, they're all going to be shoebox lights. Let's see.
Those are all LEDs.
LED. Yeah,
There you go.
that's it. All right. That looks kind of like the floodlight that we just shown a minute ago, right?
Yes, sir.
The difference in between that is that one shines straight down. It's more designed like the Cobra Head, but you can see it's got a flat glass on it and it's made to shine straight down and very little out, not far. It doesn't extend out. And most of the time in a big parking lot like what you see at the school here, you'll see these lights with 2, 3. Sometimes you have 4, 1 on each side of that square pole. So they're used for parking lot lighting. All right, so we had the rental light, we had a Cobra Head light, Floodlight. Now this is a shoebox light, and that's basically all the different kinds we had for the incandescent bulbs. Now let's look at the LEDs, a few of the LEDs here. You got the LED Cobra.
And to give you just a little insight before you go out here, you'll notice the shoebox light, this is not really adjustable.
Right.
You put this in and it shines straight down.
Yeah.
This is why they're going to, sorry about that. This is why they're going to a lot of LED lights. Let's see, open image, a new tab. This is the replacement for a shoebox light shining straight down. See this in the back?
It's adjustable.
Exactly. Now I can turn this panel up and I can make it adjustable. Now I just turned it into a floodlight. So I have a shoebox light and a floodlight all in one.
Yeah. And
Just
what's really neat about the way they designed a lot of these lights, they can either be a forward throw light or a mix. That front section of LED lights on the panel, they can adjust those from the factory to shine forward. The back section can either shine straight down and back, but that's one of the lights we look at is, and that's not a panel, that'd be more like on the lines of the flood or the LED shoebox, but very nice light, very versatile. Before I left, that picture right there, I installed probably 30 of those in the Food Line parking lot in Andrews. Put 4 on each pole. Nice, very bright at night in that parking lot. And you can see, like Professor Shoemaker said, right below the light on that bracket, you can adjust it up and down as well. And you can request from the manufacturer to have those LEDs to shine, in more of a back direction, a forward throw direction, side to side. It's whatever.
So everybody understand what he means by forward throw and back throw, side to side throw? So everybody understand that?
Forward and back,
adjust
forward and down.
Yeah. What it is on the top of the light, it's going to throw more forward. And on the back of the light, it's going to throw more light backwards. That can actually be adjusted by the LED placement in the light.
Yeah.
So they're really, really customizable.
It's kind of like that enclosed Cobra Head fixture we saw with the glassware on it. Had all the little designs cut into the glass itself, the refractor. I mean, that in itself does the same thing. It makes that line, the light itself, not just shine straight down, but it shines that light out in a different light pattern where it shines outward. Get most of that light out to where it could. But those LEDs, that light right there, we'll call that the LED Cobra. Well, no, that would be more or less the panel light.
Yep.
So
panel light.
The panel light. So LED panel, the LED Cobra, which is the same, is very similar to the Cobra Head that you saw on the incandescent light before. Is this almost exact same design, but what it does, it shines just like what we talked about with the same thing with the panel or the shoebox light. It's designed to shine in different patterns as well. Okay, so we got the LED Cobra, LED panel, and the LED flood. And a lot of these lights, you might want to, just like the picture you see, the far left-hand side, middle one, that light, I guess you could use it for a floodlight or a panel light, depending on how you angle that fixture. It really depends on, how many lumens it is and those kinds of things. So
you got panel LED, an LED flood, and what was the other one?
Cobra.
A panel, a LED Cobra?
Yeah, LED Cobra.
Gotcha, thank you.
And those all lights, I mean, they're excellent lights, and there are other different kinds. Let's see.
Well, there's a great example. Let me see.
Yeah.
So they're using 3 lights for shoebox purposes. And I would, kind of suspect this is facing towards a store or something. They
Right,
raised one up and they're using that for flood purposes.
correct. Yeah.
Great example.
And there are so many different kinds of LED lights out there. I'd like to share my screen a minute. I got some I'll show these guys.
Stand by, let me unshare here. Go ahead.
All right. All right, where's my? You guys see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. These are the different types of lights, LEDs that Duke offers right now. And guys, you'll see a lot of these. This is a floodlight, LED floodlight that Duke offers out there. You can see this is actually the same kind of light that I was installing when I left. This light actually starts as a 50 LED, and it would be just one of these lights would be a 50. Two of them together, I don't know how they figured it, would be a 75 LED. And then all of them together, I think they called that like a 300 LED. But anyway, it was, that would be our LED flood. If you guys go to Market Common and you like, what is that, Kings Highway out there, you turn off of to go down through Market Commons.
I'll bring a map up when you get done with your share.
Say it again.
I'll bring up a map for it.
Okay.
Go ahead and keep share.
There's different kinds of lights. And I'm pretty sure that they're using like this light right here. And they're like 50 feet apart. There's hundreds of these lights going into Market Common. And I'm sure that, Santee Cooper's getting a premium for it. They may be getting a discount for giving a discount for the number of lights used, but there's so
doubt
many.
it.
Yeah, they're making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
This would replace our open bottom lights when we put them in. These goes in the neighborhoods. You can see the open bottom, and I'm trying not to let that pop up. But that's an open bottom that replaced our open bottom lights there. This replaced the Cobra Head lights here. This one is still kind of got that Cobra Head design to it. The Shoebox, what we just talked about, put a lot of those up in parking lots. These teardrop lights are very popular everywhere, every town. And then the Shoebox pedestrian. And if you can see up inside of that, I'll get back that circular pattern. That's how the manufacturer designed the way that light throws out from that fixture. Yes, pointing straight down, but that light is actually designed to throw that light a little bit forward so it kind of shines out from the light. So those are the different ones that Duke offers. And I don't have a price list on it, but I'm gonna stop sharing now.
Professor V has gone through, the different light types like Cobra, LED flood, and the LED flat panel flood Cobra. And guys, you see the ones he's got up on the screen here, like that Mini Bell LED, the Mitchell LED, the Clearmont LED. There are so many of those out there in the world. We like to just classify them as decorative.
Right.
We just call them decorative lights.
Yeah.
So, we'll get into this a little bit more. You're going to get either a material list or something that's going to say, hey, I need a 150 watt light. Well, you're going to need a little bit more information, are you? Do I need a 150 watt rental? Do I need a 150 watt Cobra? Do I need a 150 watt decorative? We just want you guys to know and learn how to classify those different types. Decorative, golly, how many?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's off the chart.
And when I was working it, guys, I mean, I like to go meet with the customer face to face. I like to go look, see the area they want lit up, and then I could give my recommendations, with my experience and of course with what they would be having to pay for it. Just to work with the customer to pick out the right light for their situation or their property. Okay. So
Let me do
we,
a sh-
we-
Can
Go
I do a
ahead.
share here real quick?
absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to share here, and this will, because they're going to get into part of the problem that this gives off.
Yeah,
All right, I know it's kind of a little bit blurred, working off the side. Obviously, you see this one that's standing here, right here in the front.
yeah,
Okay, you see that one right there. And what they've done down at Faro is they've gone light tree, light tree, light tree. So every what? And you said what, about 50 feet?
50 or 75 feet seems like.
Yeah, I would say you're probably correct, because there you are looking at that light, and there's
Yeah.
the next light down. They are packed close together.
Right.
All right, I'm going to go back one here. I'm going to take you right down into Market Commons and just show you how dense lighting can be. And there's a problem with it. We'll discuss how to resolve those problems too. Where am I? There's the airport. All right, let's go into Market Commons. Here we go. This is a severe, we had so many troubles right through this area right here. Drive down a little bit.
My God, what is that?
It's Market Common.
I was out there the other weekend.
Is that a
Okay.
shop place?
Yeah, there's a theater if you want to go watch a movie. All right, so right here, there's two lights.
Yep.
Okay, zoom in on those. I'll do a little rotation here. About 20 feet away,
There's another light.
another light. Okay, go across the street from that,
There's two more.
two more lights. And you go across the street from that, two more lights. So to just show you how dense lighting can get in an area, and I'll just do the full rotation around. Two there, one there, one there. Sorry about that, hit the screen and moved around. Within that intersection right there, there are 32 lights.
Yeah.
It gets really, really clustered up. Okay.
And see, and guys, you probably saying, well, you know, why there's so many lights there? Well, one thing is that a lot of these, you know, communities are getting away from is light pollution. They don't want somebody to see that light from, you know, many miles away. They want all the light, you know, lower to the ground. They don't want the light at the sky at night. So that's why they're going to all these different kinds of shorter lights and shorter light poles. And plus, you know, aesthetically, it looks better. You know, you got all these decorative lights and all in there, and they're spread out. So that's what they like. It looks good in the community.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, you guys want to take a break? It's like 10:27.
Sure.
Okay, let's be back at you already
Nickel
said
plated?
aluminum.
So aluminum, steel.
It's not a wood, it's not a metal, not any kind of metal.
It's no type of plastic, correct?
It's in my driveway.
Yeah.
Concrete.
Concrete.
Yay!
There you go. There you go. And now you say, oh, that's kind of odd, but no, there's a lot of concrete poles out there, a lot of riding through, a lot of communities you ride through, especially the ones that are all underground. A lot of these places use a lot of these concrete poles now. I mean, they can be painted, they can, you know, not be painted. They just sometimes they'll let the metal that's on the pole itself, if there's anything like lights or brackets or whatever, it'll rust and it'll run down the pole. They like that look. But that's one of the other kinds. Like I said, wood poles. Wood poles are the most common. They're the cheapest for them to use. And of course, who do you think pays for these poles that are installed like with the lights on them in customers' yards?
City.
You know, if it's the city, yeah, you're right. The city has to pay a monthly fee on these poles. But any customer that gets these lights installed wherever, they've got to pay whatever fee. And I'm sure if it's like a larger place, those can be negotiated down, but most of the time it's a set fee. And I'll give you, for example, with Duke, these little 30-foot poles we put in the customer's backyard with a open bottom light on it. That customer's gonna pay $2.25 a month rental on that pole, and they'll be charged that forever. As long as they have that light in that yard, they'll pay that $2.25 a pole, month pole. I've had many customers, when I go to repair a light and that pole's been in their yard for 20 years and bring me the bill out and wonder, when am I gonna stop paying for this pole?
Hey,
But I guess when you take it out, have them come get it, that's when you can stop paying for it. But, and that's how they make that money, $2.25 at the time, and all that adds up.
can I share a screen real quick? Cause
Go ahead, dude.
I looked up these concrete poles and like,
Well, I don't see them.
No, I thought he was sharing a screen.
shit. Is it sharing now?
No,
Nope.
Now? I don't know how to do this. Oh, okay. Anyways, forget it. But there's these like square looking concrete poles, and then there's the concrete at the base of a pole.
That's
Oh.
right.
concrete, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say prevalent out there in the world, but there's a good bit.
Yeah.
So like if you put a concrete pole up, would it go just be at the base or just would it be concrete all the way up?
All the way up.
But how tall would they be?
What you want. It depends.
Oh,
There's a 90-foot concrete pole for you.
that's concrete?
Yes,
Yep.
sir. And all the ones down the road too.
Yep.
I don't know why I'm amazed. I just didn't expect concrete to be
Oh, yeah.
like that.
That's right.
Like it's
Concrete.
heavy.
Yep.
Okay.
Guys, I mean, just like concrete, I mean, you've got the fiberglass poles out there. Those are very common. And you might not think it, the poles that Professor Shoemaker showed going into Market Common, those little black poles,
Yeah.
those are concrete.
Those are all concrete.
Those are all concrete
Put a metal
poles.
cover around them?
They're just painted black.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
That
Yeah.
must be some high grade stuff.
I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah. Now, Professor V was saying before about we were talking about having to buy the pole or pay a fee on the
Rent it.
pole.
Yeah.
This is my house. You'll notice, I'll see if I can zoom in here a little bit.
Is that in Conway?
No, my house is not in Conway.
Okay.
It's in Dubai.
It's in Dubai. All right, so there's the light that I have for my house, and I told you it's covered up by trees a little bit, but that's okay. So there's the light I have. So you'll notice the pole itself really has to be there anyway, because that's how I'm getting my secondary to my house.
Right.
So the secondary crosses the road, goes to the pole. One service goes to the house on the right, and the other service goes to the house on the left. That's mine. And then I have a rental light installed on it. I have to pay the rental light fee for the light itself and the power consumption fee, which is what they call a flat rate. All right, it's not metered or anything like that. They have a flat rate for it. That's all I have to pay. I don't have to pay for the pole because it's required there anyway.
Right.
Right? If I took and went into my backyard and installed another pole and another light in the back, then that's the only thing that would be on that pole. I'd have to pay the rental fee for the pole and the light.
Correct.
That making sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if something's pre-existing, I'll go down the street a little bit because I had this light installed also. Right here. All right, that pole's got to be there for the rest of, I've got phases of power, transformers, goes all the way down the line. I asked to have, sir?
So they're just paying to have the light on it.
So
Correct.
I'm just paying to have the light installed on it.
Okay.
Now, you can have as many lights as you want to. And really, I just wanted to light up the street in my front yard. So I've got one on this side. I didn't want to install a new pole over here on the left-hand side and a light. So I said, heck, I'll just pay the fee for this 250 watt light that's on a pole existing, save myself a little money. So I'm paying for this light, even though it's facing out over the street. I like it. It's over the road right in front of my house. That light that's on the other side. And of course, you know, me and my ingenuity here. I don't know if I can zoom in on this. Lemon always has stuff going on together. See it from there. I'd be able to see it from over here. I got a pretty front yard though, don't I?
Yeah.
Hey, man. Right. And I don't know. Oh, shoot.
Can't hardly see it.
I know. Well, I'm moving around too much. One more. Not the other way. No, the other way. Bam. A little bit more. There we go. Aha.
There it is.
There it is. So what do I have in the backyard?
A light.
Yeah. Now the light head came from New York during a storm, and the light arm was in the trash. So that's a light that I'm having to pay for. It's metered. I just got it on an extension cord. So to give you some idea, I mean, what you can do, that lights up my backyard.
Did you hang that pole yourself?
I set the pole myself, put the antennas up myself, and hung the light myself. That is correct.
Okay.
Okay. All right,
Cool.
go ahead, Professor
All right,
Beal.
guys. So that's five types of poles: woods, fiberglass, aluminum, concrete, and steel. Okay. And that's a utility standard. That's every company that's out there uses one or all of these kinds of poles.
I got one more question.
Yes.
Now, you got more than one, but go ahead.
Would you said a steel pole, would it be stainless steel or galvanized?
Steel.
Just regular, so it rusts?
No, I mean, just like, well, you saw the transmission poles by the school where they're rusted and they want that look to it.
Yeah.
Most of these poles that they put up, steel poles, are painted black or brown or a bronze color, whatever, but there are some galvanized steel poles out there.
Okay.
And I imagine especially around in the coastal installations, you'll see a lot of galvanized poles because they're not supposed to rust, but
what were those
they do
five again?
anyways. Say it again.
What were those five again? I got wood, fiberglass, steel, and concrete.
Aluminum.
Aluminum.
Wood, aluminum, steel, fiberglass, concrete.
Yeah, you don't see a whole lot of aluminum poles, at least we don't on our side. They were more for I think fiberglass kind of took the place of the aluminum poles. So
Yeah, cost.
Cost.
Aluminum got popular. Then aluminum got expensive.
right,
Fiberglass took over.
yeah. So those are your five kinds of poles and you will see that again. All right, let's strike forward. And because of, the lighting applications are different, parking lots, roadways, there are many wattage type lights that are out there to suit their needs. Just like we saw on the lights that had the stickers on them with the 25 and the 40, of course, that was 250 watts and 400 watts, those kinds of things. But household neighborhood will not require the same wattage as a parking lot due to the area that needs to be covered, and of course the cost. There's many wattages you'll see out there, and we'll list these out, of course, and these will be the numbers that you will see on the stickers on the lights. We'll run through them right quick and let you know what the wattage types are. The first one that you may see out there is a sticker with a 10 on it. So if you see a sticker on a light with a 10 on it, what's that mean? What size wattage is that?
100 watts.
100 watts. You see one with a 15?
150 watts.
Yeah.
Okay. How about a 17?
170 watts.
Excellent.
Gotcha.
So 175.
175.
Yeah,
Okay.
and those are going away. Those are basically a mercury vapor light that they're doing away with. How about a 20?
200.
225.
Huh? A 200? A 200 is a 200. A 20 is a 200, I'd say. 25, we talked about that. That's the 250.
Yes, sir.
A 40, of course, that's 40 watts. And then if you see something out there with the X1, how many watts is that with the X1?
1,000.
Yay.
1,000. Good job, Ryan. So 10, 15, 17, 20, 25, 40, X1. Those are basically what you're going to see on the incandescent bulbs. We won't go into, there's so many different kinds of wattages for the LEDs from 50 on up to, I don't even know what the brightest lumen LED they got out there, but that's wattage wise, that's what we're going to go with on what we're teaching you guys.
Hey, Mr. V, you said a
Yeah.
40, you said a 40 is a 40, right?
40 is a
40's a
400 watt.
400.
It's a
Yeah.
400?
Yes, sir. 40 is
Yeah.
a 400.
Roger.
Except for the 175, which was
Yeah.
a 17, add a 0 to the end. 10,
Right.
100, 15, 150, 20, 200. Okay. And did you give you guys a little background? The 175 mercury vapor light, you're probably going to find some out there in the field. They still exist out there as installation. They are now banned. You cannot install those anymore. And if you have to come repair one, this was our policy. I don't know what yours was, B. Our policy
Yeah.
was it had to be replaced.
It replaces.
All right. Why do you think? It's got a lot to do with one substance that's inside of it.
A hazardous metal.
Right. Mercury. Right. It's got mercury in the lamp. So
Do you have to follow like any hazmat procedures for that?
Professor B's coming up with that shortly.
That's right. How we dispose of those lamps. Yeah. And then we'll start into that. I mean, you guys got any questions about wattages, watt sizes? You know, I mean, of course, you know, the higher wattage you have on it, you know, the brighter the light's going to be. That's just how they're designed. But you guys got any questions about wattage on the lights? Okay. All right. Let's go into repairing these lights. You know, over time, especially on the incandescent bulbs, you'll start seeing them starting to blink on and off, or they may be completely out. So the order will go to the service technicians to repair these lights. And guys, and that's part of the deal that, you know, these utilities have with their customers, that, hey, you let me come put that light in on your property. It goes out. You call in, we'll come fix it, no charge to you. You just pay that monthly fee, we maintain that light. So that is what makes it so appealing to these people. That way they don't have to go buy their own light. They don't have to maintain it. They don't have to spend extra money going and buying these bulbs and getting an electrician to come fix it or whatever. It's all inclusive in that monthly fee they pay for these lights. All right, so guy gets a light, is blinking on and off. One of the first thing that technician needs to check for is light pollution. And that's one of the big, I guess, things that cause lights to, you know, to cycle on and off out there is light pollution. They might have an old light in the backyard. The neighbor puts a light in next door to it. The photocell on your light is sensing that light, and it starts going off at night. That photocell is picking up that light, so it's going to turn it off. It may blink on and off, or it may be completely out. Really kind of depends on the light, how far away it is, and what that photocell will pick up. So that's one of the first things you want to check for. Make sure that there's not a light that's been installed close or too close to the existing light. Okay, if there's no light pollution and that light's blinking on and off, the other thing you want to look at is the bulb. Okay, take that bulb out, especially if it's sodium, high pressure sodium. High pressure sodiums are notorious for cycling. And what that does, it has what they call an arc tube inside of that bulb or that lamp. And if it looks like it's very black, or you see a discoloration of that bulb inside there on the glass, if it's turning like a silver color inside that bulb, then you know that bulb is leaking the gases out of that arc tube, and it's going to make that light cycle on and off, on and off, on and off. And a simple fix, you just take the bulb out, screw a new bulb back in, and that should fix that part of the problem. Another way to deal with the light pollution itself, on that photocell, do you have a picture of a photocell, Professor Shoemaker?
Stand by, I'll bring one up and keep talking there.
Yep. Photocells, are designed that, and it's a lot of them are called, dusk to dawn lights is what they do. And that is really designed when it starts getting dark in your yard, that light comes on. And at the break of, sunlight in the morning, when it starts coming in, that light hits that little shield on the front of that photocell, then that light will shut off. And that's the way it's designed, dusk to dawn. I mean, those things, very good, very cheap, not cheaply made, but cheap money wise for a company to use to operate these lights. And if you have light pollution, say next door, somebody's put that light too close, you can actually put a piece of tape across part of that photocell.
I'll do two here just to show you one installed on the light.
Yeah.
The blue
Right.
cap that you see right there, that is the photo control. Let me go back
Right.
and just do an actual photo control. Let's see if we get
There you go. Many kind. Yeah. There you go. See the
Excellent.
little excellent picture of that. Right. So whenever light comes in and hits that, goes inside that little plastic glass right there, or plastic see-through, it actually, there's a circuit in there, and it closes the contacts on that circuit and makes that light come on. But if you have a light next door that's affecting that light, you can actually go in there and kind of shade that photocell a little bit, put a little piece of tape across it, and that'll keep, a lot of that light from going in and help it, help that light to stay on. Or if that light's not coming on when it should, if it's like getting dark and then the light comes on, you can again either adjust the little window toward sunset, and as soon as it gets a certain light outside, that it'll operate that photocell and make those lights come on.
But B, can't you set them on timers?
Not a lot of places do have lights set on timers, but not the photocell. The photocell is not a timer.
Okay.
No, what it did is the light reacts to the little circuit board inside, which opens and closes a circuit to make the light come on. And when you install these, you can see on the top of that photocell, that arrow, when you install them, you want that light facing north. Okay, remember that. That photocell needs to face in a north direction. That way it's not coming on too soon. It's not, staying on, too late in the mornings. It's kind of set in between sunrise, sunset. That way it can operate at optimal times.
Okay.
And that one, to pass on, that's got the adjustable window.
That has the adjustable, yes.
Yeah, see the little block right there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, very. And I think at Duke, if those are under warranty, we had if it went bad within I think they have a 5-year warranty. If it went bad within 5 years, they had it for a 3-to-1 replacement. You could send it back to the manufacturer and they'd send you 3 back in its place. But very reliable. I've taken down some. I think I got one in my shed at the house I took down a couple of years ago, and inside of it, on the underside of it, you mark a date when it's installed, and it was actually installed the year I was born in 1963. And it was
Wow.
still operating up until just a few years ago when I took it out. And it was still doing, but I wanted it, so I took it for it being so old. And I did, I've got one right here. Forgot I had this one in here. I've got this one. I don't know if can y'all see the photocell? Forgot I had this in my office here, but like he showed on the picture on there, I don't know if you can see it on the bottom. It's got little numbers on the bottom of it.
Yeah, that's a bad picture.
That's a bad picture.
Yeah, it's too
Yeah.
grainy. I'll try to find one.
Yeah, but you look up underneath the bottom of these photocells and it's got numbers
go.
on one side. You got 1 through 12 on one side, and then you got dates on years on the other side, and you just take your pocket knife and scratch, yep, right there, and scratch through the month. If I installed this in August, it would be 8, and then whatever year would be marked on the date on the opposite side, and that way, that was when you installed it. So, and if it went bad and it was within, like, I think it's 3 or 5 years of that install date, then turn it back in and they send you another one to play. And you can see, two guys, that little white sticker that's on there, that gives you the voltage range. It can work from 105 volts up to 285 volts. Of course, our system, I guess that would work in England too, 50 to 60 hertz.
Mhm.
And then of course, 1,000, that would work on 1,000-watt fixture. And we had many photocells that would not work on 1,000-watt fixture because it would get so hot that it would burn the bottom side of that photocell out. So there was a more heavy-duty photocell design to replace that, to use on 1,000-watt fixtures just because of the heat itself. Y'all have problems with those, Professor Shoemaker?
We did. In fact, we went totally 1,000 watt.
Right.
We had a mixture of 250 and then 1,000. We went totally 1,000 so that we knew it would cover all the lights we have installed.
Right.
We had some, we got away from it back in the day also, of series lighting circuits.
Right.
So a series lighting circuit would be one photo control controls multiple lights down a street. Well, if you hang 5 400-watt street lights, that's 2,000 watts, and one photo control couldn't handle it. So that's why we went to full headlights, the photocell on the head of all of our lights.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I want to go over this. There's actually 3 ways. We talked about light pollution. There's 3 ways that we can fix light pollution. Okay. We talked about one on putting black tape over the photo control, the window there, to block the light, to keep the light on. Shading. There are shades that can be installed on the other fixtures to deflect the light away. A lot of times we had like a little aluminum panel we could install in that light, and it would keep, light from going toward the other lights being affected. Or we take a can of black spray paint and spray paint the inside of that refractor in there to keep it from shining over there. And the other way would be redirect the photo control, adjust the photo control so the clear window is not facing the other light. And that's done actually on top of that light fixture. You can adjust the base that you install that photo control in, so it that light does not, the light next door does not affect that photo control. So you got redirect the photo control, shading, and put black tape on the little window itself. If light pollution is not the problem, you want to follow these steps for repair. Of course, we looked at the light pollution. If that light's not working, one of the first things you want to do is you want to go up there and cover that photocell up. Just like put a glove over it, put a piece of tape over the window to get it to operate. If the photocell's bad, replace the photo control. If the photo control is not the issue, you want to replace the lamp. If you hear that photocell clicking and you know it's know it's not the photocell and you replace the lamp, and the lamp doesn't come on, then you want to replace the fixture. Now, there are sometimes you can replace these parts within the light, but really it's not very economical to replace these parts because some of these parts can be just as expensive as the light fixture itself. So you want to replace that fixture or replace the head. So rule out light pollution. You want to cover the photo control, replace the photo control, replace the lamp, replace the head. That's if light pollution is not the problem for light repair. Questions about that, guys?
And if it kind of in the process right here, this is the way we did it at Santee Cooper. Some companies might require this. There are more components that are inside the head of a light, of the ballast and the starter kit. There's different stuff in there. Some companies require their linemen to go ahead, and we went through the process here. He said, replace the photo control, cover it, replace it, replace the lamp, replace the fixture. Some companies might require you to go ahead and replace the ballast that's inside the light and the starter. We didn't do that. It took too much time. It was just as easy to go ahead and take the fixture down, put a new fixture up, and just be over with it. So follow your company policies on that one. We actually had a reclamation crew that if we turn that light in, they try to repair it in that route. The other part is don't go backwards. So if I replace the photocell and replace the lamp and the lamp fixed it, don't put the old photocell back in. Leave it the new one.
Right.
Okay.
They're cheap.
It's just a good, even though you might have a good photocell that have been there. While you're doing the work, you've just upgraded something. Just go ahead and leave the upgrade there.
Yeah. That's right. Okay. All right, that's if light pollution, you know, if you think that's the problem. If there's another problem with the light, you go there and the light's completely out. You want to follow these steps when you're trying to repair this light. You want to, you know, first of all, like I said before, cover the light, cover up that photo control. You want to replace the photo control if it's bad. Possibly replace the lamp. You can replace the ballast. You want to check your voltage. Make sure you got voltage, and you want to do this under load. A lot of these lights you can have on overhead, you can have a bad connection, and it's going to cause these lights not to burn, you know, properly. It may be burning dim or maybe not be burning at all. But you want to check it under load, and how you do that is you can put a piece of black tape over the window to operate the light, and that'll put load onto the fixture. Replace the bulb, see if it's the bulb. Check your voltage. Like I said, if that voltage, when you put light on, load on that light and check your voltage on the terminals, and it doesn't come up to 120 volts, and you've got a voltage problem somewhere, bad connection, bad wire, whatever. So that'll rule out the light fixture itself. And then, of course, if you've gone through all that and none of those other working to have it repaired, you got good voltage, everything, then you want to replace that lamp fixture itself. I know that's a lot of process to go through, but sometimes, I mean, that's the best way. Just go ahead and get rid of that fixture and put your new one up there. Any questions about light pollution and repairing these lights when they're completely out? No? All right, last thing we want to talk about when it's concerning lights, and I think there's one other thing we're going to talk about after that. We talked, somebody asked a question about disposing these bulbs, how you dispose of them. When you dispose of light fixtures and lamps, most utilities have specific containers for disposal. It's just like at Duke, we have a metal bin, a big metal bin that we threw all our conductor in. You know, anything that's steel or aluminum or whatever, everything went to this big metal trash bin that we throw away. And that would include these fixtures as well. We want to throw those and dispose of them in metal so they can be, you know, recycled at some point. And if you're doing the lamps, disposing of the lamps, the bulbs themselves, we had a 55-gallon drum we had with a liner in it. We would put all the bulbs in that, and every month our material person from Raleigh would come pick these bulbs up, take them and have them recycled. And there are companies out there that will go in and recycle these bulbs. And when I say recycle, they will crush the glass out of them, separate the metals, all the best they can, and just, you know, put the glass back to be made back into bulbs again, or whatever they do with the glass, so in the metal. So
Yeah,
that's
they're
how
doing-
they do it.
They're doing gas reclamation too. So they're pulling gas out of it too.
Right.
They've got to do that for environmental purposes.
Yes. And especially in just like, and I'm assuming they treat mercury vapor lamps just a little bit different, just because it does have the mercury inside these bulbs. And if you ever seen one, we used to do some bad stuff with these bulbs. We bust them anywhere we could find, but you know, that would be a really bad environmental thing these days, and could probably end up in a lot of big fines, because you look inside the filament inside these mercury vapor bulbs, you'll see little balls of mercury rolling around inside these bulbs themselves. But you won't see any of them out there for sale anymore, because they're done with, and just don't do away with they did away with the mercury fixtures themselves. So what they do is, what you want to do is the packaging, that if you replace the bulb in a fixture, you take that packaging, put your old bulb back in that packaging, and you would put it in a designated container that your company has designated for you to do away with these bulbs to be recycled or reclaimed at some point. So you guys got any questions about bulbs and disposals, or lamps and disposals? And that's a mercury bulb right there.
Yeah, you can tell just by the shape of it, can't you? You're a
Yeah.
professional.
That's right.
Yeah. And what it is and the leads that you see on both ends, when you got 120 going to a light, and we're not going to go into too much detail of this, that 120, you know, does everybody remember what a ballast does? And a capacitor? Well, a ballast is a momentary transformer. You're going to have about 400 volts going into this thing to ignite it. Then once it's ignited, it's going to burn. So the two ends are going to ignite the gas in here. I don't know if it's hard to see on your screen right here. On the lower side right there, you see that kind of more grayish area right there?
Mm.
On the bottom side of the tube. That's mercury residue. It's just sitting right there. So they're not fun to play with anymore.
Yeah. While you got that picture up, let me ask you guys a question. That's a 175 watt mercury vapor bulb. Can I use that bulb in a 100 watt high pressure sodium fixture? Will it burn?
Say the
Anybody?
question again.
Will a 175 watt mercury vapor lamp work in a 100 watt high pressure sodium fixture? Can you interchange these bulbs?
Sure, but it won't be as bright.
It won't burn.
It won't burn.
No,
No.
they're different waters. These ballasts are made in these lights for specific bulb types.
Yeah.
Mercury vapor works in a mercury vapor, high pressure and high pressure, low pressure, those kinds. They are not interchangeable for their fixtures.
Yeah. You're either going to have two cases going on there. One, like Professor V said, it's not going to ignite. It's never going to burn.
Yeah.
You're going to put it in there and energize it, and it's going to ignite for about 2 seconds and then die.
Right.
All right.
No,
Yeah.
So they're not interchangeable. Even to the point, you know, he gave an example of a 175 watt lamp and a 100 watt light. Let's go the gas direction. Can I take a 400 watt high pressure sodium lamp and put it in a 400 watt low pressure sodium head?
Nope.
Nope, can't do it. Same wattage, different head type.
Okay. All right. No questions, any further questions about that? Looking through the test here, when we wire up light fixtures, the common wire size that we wire up for these fixtures is a number 12, and that's going to be a copper. Even though Duke did go to some, I think they went to like a number 6 aluminum wire, which I didn't like using. I'd rather use the copper. It made much better connection in those lights. So just remember that wiring these lights up takes a number 12.
You remember the guys in the video, when the guys were in the video and they had the pole on the ground?
Yeah,
Yeah, they were running number 12 wire up, one black, one white. They were running up to the light heads.
yeah. And in that light, I mean, in that wire, it's just kind of like, you know, residential wiring itself. Your white was your neutral wire, and and your black was your hot. That all stays the same. That's kind of like a standard out there, so you don't get confused on. Nobody uses a white for a hot and a black for a neutral. It's the other way around. The white stays the neutral, the black stays hot. The typical voltage for feeding a light, there are many different voltages, and I didn't like some of the practices we used at Duke. They were actually using they, instead of putting a dry type transformer in a 277 volt secondary side of a transformer, they were operating these lights off of 277, and that's one of the taps in the balance. You can do that, but it really makes it hard for you to work on that light because you've got a large voltage there that, I mean, so many things can go wrong. I mean, I've seen a couple guys that I knew I worked with that they went to work on these lights that were fed with 277 volts, and it might have a dead short in the ballast. They cover up the photocell, and then, you know, there it goes. They got fire in the face, and that's a lot of fire off of 277 volts. So I liked it better when we kept it at, you know, the 120 volt range, and that's what your typical voltage feeding the lights are going to be 120 volts, and that's a good practice in my opinion. Is that what Santee Cooper uses?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Yeah, we're 120. We're predominant 120. That's not to say that you're going to run into. We'll look at Walmart. Walmart supplies power to their own lights. They're all 480.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of, you got to look out for what's happening right there.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Well, I showed both of the wire types while you were talking right there.
Right.
And you know, I find it kind of surprising. Even this number 12 wire is insulated up to 600 volts. Do you see the writing on it right there?
Right.
Yeah.
It's weird, but that's number 12. That's the white wire, and I showed the black before. This is exactly what we use in our street lighting. We need to wire a light up.
Okay. Cool. Guys, y'all got any questions about the lights? I know it's getting a little bit late. It's almost 11:30.
Yeah, just a question, you know,
Go ahead, Lenny.
as a lineman, right? When
Yes.
you're installing these lights and running wires and such, do you have to make any, as a lineman, do you have to make any calculations as to like what type of wire you're going to be running through? Is that like something that information that the company already provides for you?
No, that's pretty much, if there has to be like multiple lights in a line down on a circuit, the engineers already got that calculated out. But just as a standard, when you go, it's kind of predetermined that you're going to install the same kind of wiring in these lights. You know, they'll handle the load.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
what if, you know, because a lot of times engineers do make mistakes, you know.
What?
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, if the lineman, let's say the lineman, because the lineman has to look at a blueprint, right?
Yeah.
Or a schematic of some sort.
Okay.
And if there's something wrong, you know, I remember when I was doing electrical work, there was something called I think like RFI or something like that, requests for information or look at, like, if there's happens to be a discrepancy that the lineman notices, can he send that back to the engineer or it's just, do whatever the engineer says, and if there's a mistake,
I'll go with our practice. If you saw a discrepancy on ours, you can call the engineer and the engineer is required to come on site.
Correct.
Roger that.
Okay. And
Same thing.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
But Lenny, I mean, you work so many of these jobs and it gets so repetitive on the stuff. You pretty much know the right stuff to install and how it's supposed to be wired. So,
Yes, sir.
you know, it's one of
And
those things.
most of your companies here they've got a safety factor. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to buy streetlight wire that's rated for 120, 240 and use it in all my lights. That's right at the level that I'm operating at. What size wire do we use? 600 volt. So, there's a lot of, what do I want to say? Safety built in as far as the engineer side of it too. Showing this pole up here, it's you as the installer that needs to know what to do. How many runs of number 12 do I need in one individual pole, 1 or 2?
2.
2, because there's 2 heads. Right? Somebody brand new might think, well, I'm just going to go 1 run here and then go across the arms. Nope, that's not allowed. So that's in a work practice, not in an engineering type thing. Those are things that you just kind of learn at work. What size wire do I need to feed all of these lights?
Number 12.
I mean, underground. That's 1, 2, 4,
Oh.
6, 8, 10, 12. That's an engineer decision, but I can guarantee you, he's going to oversize it just a little bit to make sure you got a safety factor in there so things don't burn up. I mean, if these are 400 watt lights, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What's 14 times 400? 5,600 watts, right?
Mhm.
Sure.
Heck, I almost need a 10 kVA transformer just to feed the lights. So a lot of it's safety factored in there, Lenny.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the question, Lenny. Any other questions you guys might have about lighting before you take the quiz? Would you like to go over the quiz?
How many questions is the quiz?
400.
400 question. I
I think it's 20.
couldn't finish the 400 question quiz.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. All right. We'll run through these questions and you roll them through your mind. And if you guys got any questions, just ask. Okay. All right. What you want to do is name the color codes for these lights. First thing we went over, or one of the first things. Next question, how can you determine the wattage of a light? Light head from the ground, looking up at that fixture from the ground, how can you determine the wattage?
Mhm.
And these are all, that first one's written, the next one's going to be multiple choice. And I'll give you the multiple choices by the pole number, from the lamp type, from the numbers in the lamp head sticker, or from the head type. And that was determining the wattage from the ground. What are the 5 types of poles to install lights on? That's written out. True, false. Can you interchange lamps between light types? What part turns the light on at dusk and off at sunrise? The lamp, the head, the ballast, the photocell. Next question, what size wire feeds the light head? Is it 12, 6, 1/8 triplex, or number 4 duplex? 7, what is the color scheme for wires feeding the input of the light head? Is it black hot, red neutral, white neutral, black hot, white hot, black neutral, or black hot, green ground? Pick the one that we talked about just a few minutes ago. What is the typical voltage feeding a light? 480, 240, 120, or 12 volts? Okay. when a light goes on and off at night, it is termed as a blank light. Is it on and off, broken, or cycling? Did we talk much about that, Professor Shoemaker?
You went through it one time, and we might as well go through it again. I mean, that's the terminology that we use.
Yeah, sure.
And you'd be kind of surprised, a lot of your customers kind of know it.
Yeah,
They see the light go on and off and say, yeah, that light's cycling on and off. Well, that's what it is doing, it's cycling.
yeah,
And it's kind of strange to catch it. You might have a light that comes on, it stays on for 15, 20 minutes, and then goes off, cools down, comes back on, or they might cycle within seconds, on, off, on, off, on, off. It's kind of one of those things you got to catch.
right.
Cycling.
Cycling. Name 7 light head types. We talked about those. You have those, that's written out. What direction does a photocell window face in an area with no light pollution? We talked about that, showed you that one. How do you adjust a photocell to have the window away from light pollution? Okay, I think what we talk about, 3 steps on that.
Yeah. Any questions on that one? How we adjust the light head? I mean, the photo control, so it doesn't, so you're able to turn it? Yes, questions, no questions.
Questions. Yeah, how do you
Okay.
buy one more time?
Okay, hold on one second. Let me bring up a head here. See if I can zoom down on one here, V.
Okay.
Boy, they're off from the bottom. Oh, I wish I would have left that light thing that I had up before. Why? Control.
Real quick, the different types of heads. I only got 6 of those.
What you got, Holmes?
All right, for incandescent, I got Shoebox Cobra Flood. LED, I got Cobra Panel Flood.
Okay, you missed the rental. Remember the open bottom rental?
And that's for LED, or
No.
that's for both?
That was the area light, the round looking light, the small one.
Gotcha.
I'm going through a bunch of stuff.
All right. All right, while you're doing that one, you guys remember what the procedure is for lamp disposal? Okay.
You said,
Ryan,
you said something.
Ryan, huh?
You said
Say,
something
Lenny?
about a metal. You said something
Yeah.
about a metal plate.
No, well, no, what you want to do, just like what I said, when you're replacing that lamp in a fixture, you take the new lamp out of the cardboard container it's in, put the old lamp back, you got to repackage it back inside that and dispose of it in the appropriate container that your company designated to dispose of these lamps.
Understood.
Remember I said we did the 55-gallon drum with the liner inside? That's what Duke does. Okay. Talk about what is the procedure to troubleshoot a light? And this is not concerning light pollution, but how to troubleshoot it, starting from, covering the photocell, replacing the photocell, going through the lamp, replacing the lamp, replace the ballast, checking voltage, and replacing the light fixture itself if all else fails. Okay.
Okay. Y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So I brought up a Cobra Head light type. Now this is looking at it from the front on the left-hand side. On the top is looking straight down on it. This is looking at it from the back on the left hand, the parallel view, and the bottom view at the bottom. If you'll notice, this one does not have the photo control in it, and that's that black circle. When I'm using the top head for the example, it's hard. I'm sure it's hard to see in yours because it's very hard to see in mine. Inside the photo control, in this ring right here, there's 2 set screws. Okay, you can loosen the 2 screws and actually turn the mount for the photo control in a different direction. So loosen set screws in photo control mount, turn it and retighten the screws. That way, when you put your photo cell in, it's going to point a different direction.
Yep.
Loosen set screws, turn mount, tighten set screws, install photo cell.
Yeah.
Photo control.
That question was, how do you adjust a photo cell to have a window away from light pollution?
Correct.
That's one of the answers. There's 3 things you can do. That was redirect the photo cell, shading, and put black tape on the photo control window itself.
Right.
Guys, that's all the questions. You got any,
Okay,
you got any questions? By the
Yeah.
way,
Redirecting, shading, and relocating.
redirecting, shading, and then the black tape.
Oh, okay.
You just take that window. I mean,
Just put it across half.
it's kind of, you got to take the cap off, and that's just a alignment thing right there.
Yeah.
For you to cover that window and let less light through that window, Embry, you can take a cap off, and they've even come up nowadays. You can slide a little thing inside of it, lock it in place, and it's going to just let less light in. They've actually got sunglasses for photocells now, where you can put little pieces in.
Shades on.
Alignment is going to take that photocell. It's going to take some tape and wrap around the top of it so only half the window shows. Plug that in, and it's going to say, "Have a nice day."
Yeah. See that window they're going to cover up
Yeah.
with tape. They're going to cover up part of that window with tape, just like that. Or they may do it top and bottom and leave a little
slit.
slit in there just for enough for a little bit of light to get in.
All right.
Any other questions about it?
One of the questions was asking what was the most common like watch used. What was the answer for that one?
What was the, say that again?
What was the most common watch used?
Was that one of the questions?
Uh-uh.
No.
I think it was typical voltage.
Typical
Yeah, that's what it
voltage.
was.
Yeah. What did we say it was?
120.
Yeah, let me, huh?
120.
120.
Yep.
You got an option 480, 240, 120, or 12 volts.
Okay, thank you.
De nada.
All right, guys. There ain't no more questions. We're gonna wrap this thing up.